What if I told you that every time you over-explain, you're actually trying to manipulate the person you're talking to? I know that sounds harsh, but stay with me, because this realization changed everything about how I communicate, and it can transform how you speak up too. Hey there, I'm Carpenter with Blissful Heart Coaching. Today, we're diving into something that plagued me for decades: the exhausting cycle of over explaining every decision, every boundary, every authentic choice I made. If you've ever found yourself spiraling into justification mode the moment you try to speak your truth, this video is for you. Because what I'm about to share will help you say what you mean without sounding desperate for approval. Here's what I see happening with so many women, especially those of us who have spent years people pleasing. We finally work up the courage to speak up, but then we immediately undermine ourselves with endless explanations. It sounds like this: I can't help you move this weekend. I mean, I really wish I could, but I have this thing and it's been planned for weeks. And I feel terrible about it, but I just can't. Or, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. But from my perspective, though I could be wrong, we think we're being considerate. But what we're really doing is teaching people that our boundaries are negotiable and that our voice doesn't matter. In my unbridled authenticity coaching work, I call this pattern voice reining, where we've learned to bridle our own voice before anyone else can. When I talk about bridling, I'm drawing from the world of horses. In thoughtful horsemanship, a horse learns to respond to gentle pressure while ideally staying connected to its spirit. But many of us, as humans, internalize the pressure around us so deeply that we began to bridle ourselves, suppressing our true thoughts, emotions, and desires to stay safe, accepted, and loved by the people we depended on. The unbridling process is about gently loosening those old reins, healing the survival adaptations that once kept us safe, and reconnecting with our whole, worthy, soul-like selves. We've internalized the message that speaking directly is somehow selfish or harsh. But here's the controversial truth I mentioned earlier. When we over-explain, we're actually trying to manipulate the other person into being okay with our choice. We're not trusting them to handle our authentic communication. We're not respecting their ability to process information and respond like an adult. Think about it. When you over-explain, you're essentially saying, I don't believe you can handle my truth, so I need to cushion it with all these reasons and apologies. The transformation happens when you realize that clear, direct communication is actually the most loving thing you can do. It's respecting both yourself and the other person enough to be honest. This shift really began for me during my work with horses. Horses don't over-explain. When my mare Fancy sets a boundary with another horse, she doesn't follow it up with an apology to her. She's clear, she's direct, and then she moves on. The other horses respect her for it. Here's what speaking up without over-explaining actually sounds like. I can't help you move this weekend. I don't think that's a good idea. That doesn't work for me. I've decided not to do that. Full stop. No spiral, no justification. And if you're thinking, Lynn, that sounds hard, I get it. At first, it feels unfamiliar and risky, but it's the kind of risk that leads to freedom. Your nervous system has been conditioned to believe that direct communication equals danger. But you can retrain this pattern. Here's how to start. Step 1 is to recognize your voice reining pattern. Notice when you're about to spiral into explanation mode. Your body will tell you. You might feel your chest tighten, your voice get high, your words start tumbling out faster. And step 2 is to heal the herd imprint. Ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I don't explain myself? Usually it's fear of rejection, anger, or abandonment. These are old survival patterns from when you were small and dependent on the approval of your parents, caregivers, teachers, the very people whose love and acceptance you believed your safety and belonging depended on. Back then, being liked was survival. So your nervous system learned to stay safe by keeping the peace, avoiding conflict, and making sure no one was upset with you. But you're not that little girl anymore. You get to make new choices now that honor your truth instead of betraying it. And step 3 is to reclaim your authentic voice. Practice the pause. When you feel the urge to over-explain, pause and breathe. Trust your initial statement was enough. Trust that the other person can handle your truth. This isn't just about communication. It's about reclaiming your right to exist authentically without constantly auditioning for approval. When you stop over-explaining, you're establishing what I call sacred fences, boundaries that protect your authentic self. You're also modeling for others what healthy, direct communication looks like. You're showing them that they don't have to perform for your approval either. Remember, learning to speak up without over-explaining is part of your journey back to unbridled authenticity. It's about loosening those old reins that kept you small and trusting that your voice matters exactly as it is. The people who truly belong in your life will respect your direct communication. And the ones who don't, that's information too. If you're ready to dive deeper into reclaiming your authentic voice, I've created a free quiz that will help you discover which of the 4 bridling patterns is keeping you stuck. You'll find the link in the description below. Until next time, keep unbridling that beautiful, authentic voice of yours. You have something important to say, and the world needs to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.